Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're feeling stuck with your guitar practice, if you're not motivated at all to pick up your guitar as you walk by it and actually start playing, if what once was your great passion, music, has now turned or is turning into a chore, then you're suffering from a very common condition for guitar players and musicians in general, but one condition that has to be addressed right away because the consequences of not doing so can be very dire, the worst of which would be for you to abandon music altogether. Fortunately, there are many ways you can overcome it, not only that, but actually come out the other side even more motivated and inspired. So in today's video I'm going to show you some tips that will help you through a rough patch if you're going through it now, and that will prepare you if the time ever comes. So let's begin. If you've been tempted to give the guitar a rest for a few days or a few weeks and then come back with renewed energy and enthusiasm, let me warn you that in my experience with hundreds of students and musician friends, this rarely if ever happens. What's most likely to happen is you simply get used to not practicing, and then you enter that slippery slope at the end of which it's you not playing at all. So don't do that. Let me give you some better advice with tip number 2. This is so simple, but it can be extremely effective, and that is to simply change your practice schedule. Maybe you're used to practicing at night after work or after dinner, and you might be tired and unmotivated, and rightfully so. So I suggest you instead get up a half hour earlier every day and do your practice then. Same thing in the weekend. You're trying to get work done, but you're pushed and pulled by family and obligations. Maybe wake up earlier and do it before everybody else gets up. This has actually saved a lot of my students from frustration and actually giving up playing at all, because it really gave them a way of being by themselves with the instrument 100% focused. So maybe give this a try. Forget about the things you think you should know and learn and all the things you're struggling with. If that's not working, just change direction, even if just for a little while. Maybe find that song you've always wanted to play or that solo you always wanted to master. Buy yourself a new instructional video, or my favorite, start a new book on chords, composition, arranging, technique, whatever it is. Even better, if you want, you can try my books on technique, for example. I know it's a bit of a shameless plug, so I'll redeem myself with this free PDF you can download with all kinds of licks, riffs, and all other things that might get your juices flowing. Whatever it is, try something different. If even starting a new book or a video seems daunting to you right now, that's fine too. Just do this. Set aside 15 to 30 minutes every day and just play. No thinking, no studying, no nothing. Just grab your guitar and play. Just like when you're talking on the phone and you doodle on a piece of paper, do the same thing. Just move your fingers around, no judging. Just listen to what you're playing and let the subconscious juices flow. And eventually you'll be amazed by all the motivating and inspiring stuff you'll run into and you stumble upon. Ever since my first proper concert, AC/DC, when I was just a kid, I have never been to a live show where I haven't come back home and plugged straight into my amp and played for 2 hours. It's almost impossible to go out and witness live music without being inspired and reminded of why we love music in the first place. So this is an easy thing to do. Just get out there and watch some live shows. You'll be amazed by the effect this will have on your creative mind. Do any of your friends or anyone you know play an instrument? Then just give them a call, go to their house and make some music together for a few hours. That's what we all used to do before the internet and YouTube and all this stuff. Even better, maybe you can go to a jam session and just sit in with other players. Don't feel intimidated by your lack of level or whatever it is. Just go out there and play. And if you really want to take things to the next level, form a band. Part of the enthusiasm of learning the guitar in the first place comes from the fact that we feel that we're opening this door to the great unknown, decipher something mysterious. And through the months and years of practice, as we start to understand how the guitar works, this feeling can fade a little bit. And for some people, this leads to lack of motivation and inspiration. It's an illusion, of course, because the guitar is an endlessly deep instrument. But sometimes it's good to remind ourselves of how it feels to be complete beginners. And so I suggest you start learning a new instrument. You can try drums, bass, piano, synthesizers. I went to India, I studied sitar with a guru. Poorly, I must say, but all this stuff that brings your mind back to that beginner state really does wonders for your motivation and your interest, and it feeds back into your main instrument too. So that's something that I highly recommend. If you've been studying music and guitar on your own, you're more likely to hit a plateau in your progress at one point or another, and that feeling is overwhelming of being lost, and it seems unsurmountable on your own, but it could actually be fixed pretty painlessly by an experienced, good teacher. Now, keywords here are experienced and good, so don't settle for anything but great when it comes to finding a new teacher, and I suggest you find someone locally, somebody people talk about, somebody that is renowned in your area. If you can't find anyone, it's happened before on the channel, there's a link to my email below. But as I said, if you find somebody in your area, that would probably be your best option. The guitar is infinite in its possibilities, and so is music, and this can be very overwhelming for a lot of people. But a song has a beginning and an end, and it can be as short as 2 or 3 minutes if you want it to be, so it's much more manageable. And my advice here is that you dust off that old lick you've been playing on and off for a few years and sit down and finish it, turning into a full song. A song is kind of like solving a puzzle or a Rubik's Cube. It can inject some real sense of purpose into your daily practice. I wish I could say that this doesn't work, but it does. Buying a new guitar, a new pedal, or a new amp, or any kind of inspiring gear can really do wonders to your motivation. So while I don't advise you go out and buy a new guitar every time you feel lazy, a great piece of gear can really boost your motivation. If not by inspiration, then by guilt. But if it works, who cares? So there's my 10 tips for when you feel stuck or in a rut and to keep your motivation and inspiration high at all times. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful and entertaining. If you did, maybe give it a like. If you haven't joined us yet, please do subscribe and let me know in the comments below how can you apply this stuff to your own situation, or if you have other advice you want to share. Thanks very much as always. Have a great beginning of 2023, and I'll see you very soon with a new video.